Well, my guest today on the show is actor and storyteller Arjay Smith. So many great credits to his name. The Rookie concurrently, as he plays James Murray, partner to Makia Cox's character Nyla, and so many other great things too that he has been a part of over the trajectory of his career. I'm excited. We've got Perception the day after tomorrow, MacGyver, First Sunday, Designated Survivor. So many cool things. Thank you for your time. A true testament of an a working Hollywood actor, for sure.
I was loving as you kept going. I was like, okay, keep going, bro. Keep going. Help me remind me how long I've been doing
How
this.
long have you been acting? I don't know. IMDb is not 100% always accurate, but you've been
Very
at
true.
this for a minute for sure.
Very true. Sometimes IMDb can be a little behind in some ways, but I would definitely say for me, they've been pretty 99% accurate. So I got in the business in 1993, 31
Okay.
years ago. But I've been in the union, been with SAG since 1994. So I've been in the union for 30 years. I think my first IMDb union credit was Step by Step, which was a very long time
Wow, that's
ago.
a cool
Yeah, which is
credit to
very cool.
have.
But my first credit that got me in the union was an all sport commercial with Shaquille O'Neal. So that's what got me like officially in. Did a bunch of commercials as a kid, and then I landed Step by Step, and shortly after that, Nick Freno. And then by the time I turned 13, I got Alan Strange on Nickelodeon. So then I became a Nick kid. Yeah,
Step by Step, that's a cool credit to have in
it
your
is.
TV and filmography for sure.
It
That
is.
was
It
really a
is. It
cool
is.
show. What role was that? I'm trying to look here. Was it a speaking role or was it a
It was a speaking role. I literally had, I want to say maybe two lines. Um, I come down the steps and this random African American kid in the family's kitchen, and I need a permission slip. So everyone went through saying permission slip, permission slip. Then comes this little black boy, permission slip. And he looked at me like, I know we got like kids in this house, but who are you? And it was great. It was the first time I ever did a live audience. So four camera show. And Brett, I tell you, it was the next level of my life when I knew I wanted to continue doing this.
okay?
When I did uh, All Sport with Shaquille O'Neal, that's where you catch the bug. You're on set, you're seeing what the DP does, what the director does, what all the crew, lighting, gaffers, all these different folks. And you're like, this is an awesome world to be in. But step by step, when they roll call, so at the very end, when they bring out all the cast, they first bring out all the guest stars
Right.
or the recurrent. So I was a guest star. So I want to say the first person's name they called. And when I ran out there at the age, at that time, I had to have been 10 or 11. And literally everyone just like, yeah. For me, it was maybe it's the vanity in most thespians, but for me, it was like, I belong here. And oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that was so incredibly honoring and so fulfilling. And the rest is history. Yeah.
Yeah. So there I see it. Nelson was your act.
Nelson, that's
Three
wow.
girls and a baby. You shared scenes with Christine Lakin, who has been on the show
Yes.
before. Um, and then you just went on from there. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, just looking at everything that you've done, it's been pretty phenomenal. So,
Wow.
what interested you in acting? What was it that made you go out to do this to begin with?
Very easy answer to that question. Macaulay Culkin. Home Alone. I'm about 7 or 8 when Home Alone came out. And I remember telling my parents, hey, like that would seem like a fun thing to engage in. My mom already knew there was something in me that was thespian related. It's like my 5-year-old son right now. He was playing soccer yesterday, and like he was dancing while playing. Like while the ball's being kicked on the left side, he's on the right side, just yay. I said, okay, he's probably going to be a performing artist like his dad because
Yeah,
the
you could
way
usually tell.
You could tell, and so my mom could tell with me when I was about four, about my son's age, 4 or 5. She took me on a commercial audition, and Brett, I went into the room by myself, and I was in there for maybe 10 minutes. I walk out, my mom goes, "Hey, did you say anything? How'd it go?" And I go, "I didn't say anything." And my mom's like, "Well, what happened? Why didn't you speak?" And I said, "Well, you and Dad said don't talk to strangers. I didn't know them people." And so she was like, wow, okay, he gets it. He's listening, but maybe this isn't the time. And then I went home later that day and was performing the lines in the bathroom. So fast forward when I'm about 7, 8 years old, I see Macaulay Culkin, and I'm just, for me, it's inspiring, but something inside me innately is saying, you should be doing it. I told my parents, they're like, oh, let's finish playing sports. Fast forward, I'm 9 years old. I came knocking on my parents' door again, being like, hey, I really want to try this. And yeah, from there, again, everything just seemed to line up organically. I got my first print agent. They signed me on the spot. Shortly after that, I got a theatrical agency. And then what, 8, 9 months later, I had my first commercial. So the timing of it was very organic, very inspiring, very like, wow, okay, maybe this is my calling. But you're such a young kid, and my parents didn't know anything about show business. This isn't
Hmm.
called show friends, it's called show business. And they had to learn along the way. Thank God they were and still are solid people. So I still had to take the trash out even when I was, a Nickelodeon star. I still had, when I got home, I still had to do chores. So that kept me grounded, bro. That just really kept me centered on what's most important in life. And while I was in show business, it was just my job, it was my occupation. It wasn't my everyday. And I think some folks who I have grown up with in the industry, they have made show business their everyday and their entire life to where they're used to being catered to. Yeah, I was being catered to at 12, 13, but when I got home, my mom was like, your black ass better go do what you need to do. Your butt need to go. Like, again, it was just this very real essence of I went to church. I did school activities. I didn't start doing home studies till I was about junior high and high school. But even still, then my parents made sure there was this natural balance of business and non-business. And so they're learning again, we're all learning as we're going along this incredible journey. But Macaulay Culkin is what sparked it. And what sustained it was, again, once you're on set and you're meeting people, when you get to a certain age, I remember in the 6th grade, I'm watching LeVar Burton on Reading Rainbow in the library on TV, right? And then you fast forward to he directed my episode of Charmed, which was somewhere around like '09, 2010. And then fast forward several years later, we're on Perception together with Rachel Lee Cook and Eric McCormick. For me, these people, I look back to where I first noticed them, but then to work with them, you're like, how lucky and blessed am I? And it's those moments that continue to happen in my life where I go, this is what's keeping me going because I'm a people person. The folks I meet, oh my gosh, meeting Jake Gyllenhaal, working with him, incredible. You're just meeting
Yeah.
awesome folks. Yeah.
I mean, I would venture to say you probably still have to take out the trash, even though you're a series
Oh yeah, yeah.
regular on The Rookie now.
I'm married. I'm married, so of course I have to take out the
That's
trash.
funny.
Oh, that never stops. Yeah, but I'm acclimated to it, which is what's great.
Yes. Well, you are in your hometown now, as you mentioned before we started talking. So are you done filming at this point for The Rookie this season, or do you have more to
No,
come?
we've got more to come. So, obviously, we film in LA. I'm back and forth between the East Coast and the West Coast.
Okay.
So both coasts are my home. I just finished up another episode. James will be seen a lot in season 7. Hallelujah. And no, we're not done. Season is not done, and I should hopefully be going back on about a month or so to do some more episodes. So.
Nice. Well, let's talk about this character because he's so fun
Yes.
to watch. Um, when you booked this role originally, I know sometimes it's kind of unknown how many
Mhm.
episodes, maybe even who you're playing. When you first booked the role, did you know that you would be playing the love interest of Makia, or was it sort of unknown? You didn't know. So they brought you in for a couple episodes to play the character that you play, and then it
Right,
they
right.
liked you and they've kept bringing you back, and now your character is established as a as one of the main storylines for sure.
Absolutely. So this kind of ties into something we just said a second ago. Um, when you're in this business and you're finding the inspiration and the joy and the benevolence, meeting new people helps sustain uh, that excitement. So Nathan Fillion, one of the best human beings, first off, okay. Secondly, one of the best actors. He just has it all. Great person, great performer. And so let's rewind, not fast forward, let's rewind to 2020. We're in the pandemic. So work is short. Things have slowed down. There's not a lot of auditions out there. So this is around maybe July or August. I get an audition from my agent to play this community center guy on The Rookie. I was like, sure, it's a guest star role. Why not? I go in, I do well, I should say I didn't go in because of COVID, we were self-taping. So I self-taped myself. Now, to all the actors listening to this, I don't recommend you do this, but once you become a veteran, you take these chances because you understand there's nothing to lose. Also, I've established myself for a plethora of years. But normally they like to see a reader or hear a reader when you're auditioning. Brett, I didn't know a reader. It was all by myself. It was just RJ. So I did it like a monologue style, basically. And it went, I felt great, sent it in. 2 days later, my agent's going, hey, you booked it. It's like, oh, wow, great, cool. At that time, because of COVID, we were having to isolate a lot on set. We
Yeah.
had these little pods, so everyone would be in their pod, had a zipper, and it was a clear screen. You could see through it, but you're in your own little pod and you're kind of waving to folks. So it was a very kind of a disconnect, right? Where you can't be super social, but I'm all about just that natural vibration when you can talk to people and get to know them. That plays into what will eventually showcase on TV, right? So if you're vibing with someone in person, it will show on camera, even if it's someone that's your enemy on TV. People can tell, like, wow, you guys are so dynamic with each other. Well, off camera, those people are generally really good friends
Yeah.
sometimes, but oftentimes it is the case. So the energy that I was creating with, Makia, Nathan, Sean, Ashmore, I'm in this pod, so every moment I could get to speak with them, I took advantage of it. And we do the pinnacle scene in my first episode when Nathan and I are talking, and I expressed to him how his efforts are pretty much in vain. If
Yeah.
you really want to make a difference, know what the problems are in these communities, start from there as opposed to putting a band-aid on it and thinking that's going to suffice. And I'll never forget Michael, the director at the time, he said, RJ, make this a teachable moment. And I said, got it. Done. Because again, I'm from LA, born in LA. I understand the LAPD. I got friends in the LAPD. And to play this guy that was this liaison between community and the law enforcement, I was like, wow, this is awesome. But that's all I knew. That's all that right there is all James was. A community dude who got to be the voice box and this
Yeah.
liaison. And I think just naturally what they saw on camera between Makia and I in that first episode, it wasn't until a month later I got invited back for a second episode in season 3. Then, what, a couple months after that, I got invited for a third episode. And it was that third episode in season 3 where James asked Nyla out on a date. And so I think they were just watching how the chemistry was unraveling on camera, but off camera, these people are becoming, and they are now my friends. And that's the
Mm.
beauty part of it. You don't always get that chemistry, but when you do get it, you cherish it. Oh, do you cherish it? So these are now people I call and consider my friends, right? And that was developing over time. Then fast forward, season 4. Now you got Nyla has to choose between James and this other guy, right? So each step of the way, I'm not sure, Brett, what's going to happen. I really don't. So it's all brand new, fresh. info for me. I'm happy the way it panned out, but no, it was no like preface of, oh, here's James. He's going to be in the next 5 seasons of the show. He's marrying Nyla. They're going to have a like, no, it was every season I was presented with new information. Um, and it was just, again, it was glorious information because I'm like, wow, I actually prayed for a show like this. Uh, After coming off Perception as a series regular, those are also my friends. You know what I'm saying? With
Yeah.
Eric McCord, those are my friends, and we were together for 3 seasons. So I just wanted to be back on a show that had good chemistry and great talent, and I got that with the rookie, and it's been phenomenal. And this season, yeah, I'm already in 7 of the first 10. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of James this season, which is beautiful. But they're always giving me new things to do, which as an artist I appreciate because it just allows me to just kind of work my chops and exercise.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. We had Brandon J. McLaren on, I don't know, like a year or
Okay.
so ago, who played
Okay.
Elijah, and
Mm-hmm.
he said the same thing similarly. Like, he didn't know. I'm still holding out for him to come back, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we never
Yeah.
know.
You never know
But
with this show.
I feel like there's more to his storyline, hopefully. But I don't know. Like, I think that's the interesting thing about what you guys do is like you just don't ever know. But what I see as a consistent thing as an actor is that if you do well and they like you, which the two often go hand in hand, there
Yeah.
are really good chances that you'll get to come back and continue to play the character that you play so well. I think it's interesting how your character on this show has developed from the start to now and being seen more and more. So it's exciting to hear that we're going to get to see James more this season. And it's exciting for sure, I would imagine, to continue on with this. So, looking back at your career, you've played so many different characters, so many different types of roles, both in film and television. Is there one thing that you learn from each character about yourself personally that helps
Mm.
you grow as an actor and storyteller, or maybe as a husband or as a parent,
Mm.
in the positive, or maybe something you learn about yourself that you're not a fan of, and you go,
Not a
okay,
fan.
this is something I could definitely change as a person.
That's a beautiful question.
Thank you.
So, obviously, no one wants to work with excuse my French, but no one wants to work with someone who's just being a butt all day, right? No one wants to work with someone who's ultra grumpy, someone who's just always negative and pessimistic, right? That would just become overwhelmingly draining,
Yeah, it would be
right?
horrible.
So, so no one even, while no one wants to deal with that, even as an actor, most actors don't want to be around energy that isn't fulfilling or uplifting. And so I think with each character I play, um, you are cultivating who this person is, right? Their ticks, their nuances, their favorite color. As the actor, I'm allowed to do that. There still is the base condition of what the writer created this person to be like. So, in example, James, James is a community center guy, right? So we know this about him. He's a good guy. He's already fathered. If you remember, my character already had 2 boys, so he's already a parent. That's already established. Now I get to say, well, what's James's favorite food? Um, does James have a smile? Does James have a positive outlook? Even though he has his issues with with police and law enforcement, maybe James has an uncle who was once in law enforcement, and maybe something happened there with why he has a kind of grayish perspective, like he's not fully, he doesn't hate it, but he has his issues with it. I get to do all of that creative work. And so in the process of that, Brett, I am going to bring aspects of what RJ likes naturally. Like, okay, well, uh, my favorite color is blue. So it's like, I'm going to think that James likes blue. I love ribs. I love seafood. I love Louisiana food. So I'm going to say, maybe every summer James takes a trip to New Orleans, right? Just these little backstory elements I can create that line up with who I personally am. And so when you're doing that, yes, you find yourself seeing who you are, but why that question you asked is so beautiful is because, yeah, you do learn some things about yourself, even in the process. Um, my wife watches the relationship I have with Makia on the show. And that James Nyla dynamic, my wife thinks it's her and I. She's like, oh my gosh, did you tell them this story? Is that why they would? And I'm like, honey, that's just something they organically wrote. And when I read it, I'm like, wow, that happens to be, mirroring my actual real life. How
Mm.
did they know that? I never told them this. But there's some things, once you've been married, my wife and I have been together 11 years, this December, 9 years of marriage. There's some things that are just universal about marriage and relationship and dynamics of trust. But Brett, I've really learned being an actor that I'm an impatient person. And characters I play, whenever I'm doing a moment where the character's impatient, I do that very well because naturally I'm not patient. But then there's aspects of my life where I am very chill, though. While I'm impatient, I'm not confrontational unless need be, but I'm just like that guy that's like, hey, I'm very easygoing, though. So when I watch James, I'm like, oh wow, okay. James has this balance of he's very easygoing, but he's also very much so like, let's get the job done. Like, what's happening? What are we doing? And to watch that, it does ignite a part of you that says, huh, I really got to make sure I watch out on my patience, but also my cadence. Maybe sometimes watch out on my tone, how I'm speaking to my wife, how I'm speaking to my kids. Like these are things, yes, you can learn about yourself simply because you do bring aspects of yourself to these characters. And that's how you get to say, like, huh, that was a really good performance when James was mad. But is that what I sound like when I talk to my wife, Brittany? Oh, okay. Maybe I should be a little softer or be a little bit more open-minded. Again, you can learn a lot as you're performing these roles. I mean, think about it. If you're an athlete, if you're a basketball star, right? And you're watching what they would say watching tape. They're watching themselves to learn about themselves. What they can do better, what they did good to sustain that. Well, maybe they could do this a little bit differently. Maybe, yes, it's the same approach. It's a sport. Acting, being a thespian is a sport. So if I'm watching my roles, I can see how I can improve from the talent, but there also are ways you can improve as a human being when you watch things you do. I think watching, and this is a very interesting point, watching myself playing Brian on The Day After Tomorrow, I'm playing a nerd. Now, I grew up as a dork. I was more of a dork, but I had like nerd friends. I had street nerd friends. Very interesting dynamic, my background. I'm a hood dork. But again, it's like I grew up with that synergy again, like nerds who just knew these random weird facts, like, camels can see with their eyes closed. And so when I played Brian, I brought, okay, let me think about what I've been around and who I am. But when I watch Brian right now, my favorite line is when I say to the officer, sir, I'm president of the electronics club, the math club, and the chess club. Now, if there's a bigger nerd in here, please point him out. That's RJ Smith playing that. But when I watch that, I'm like, man, that's a really confident guy. I should make sure I carry that with me wherever I go. Find someone in this room that's better than what I already know what I do. And then maybe I'll give the job over to them. But right now, I'm president of the electronics club, the math club, chess club. Who's better than me? If you take that even as an actor, giving your best performance, there's only one RJ Smith in this room. Point out another RJ. So RJ has to be the best version of RJ in this moment because yesterday's gone, tomorrow's not promised.
I love it. I'm trying to think. That's so good. Wow, very good. You just have such a cool perspective.
Thank you, brother.
Um,
Thank you.
you're grounded, your faith, all of those things I feel like are what make you, I mean, you're already good, but I think it just adds to what you do. Um, I feel the same for me and what I do and the opportunity to speak to people like yourself, people that I'm a fan of or have been a fan of growing up and get a chance to share this format in conversation. Have you had scenes with Brent Huff? I'm trying to remember Smitty.
No, no,
I don't think
yes,
you
Brett,
have.
we
Maybe
have, we
one.
have, and that's my guy, by the way, because I was like, where have we had a
He's
moment?
become a really good friend. He's been on a few times, but I was trying to go back in my brain
I
and
love
see.
Brent. So if you remember the moment when uh, James officially proposes to Nyla in the break
Yes, I
room,
remember. Okay.
Smitty is like over in the corner chilling. He heard the whole thing and he like sniffled. He's like, that was beautiful. Like, and in that moment, we're looking at him. Yes. So James has had a moment with Smitty. And then Britt and I feel like we were in another scene together, but we see each other all the time off camera, like because we're on the same studio, you're on the same lot. So like when we're getting ready, getting in makeup here, you see each other throughout the day. But we don't have a lot of scenes. But there is one more scene, and it'll come to me. There is one other scene we've had, um, but that's the most memorable one for me was when he's in the room present for when I proposed to Nyla.
I
But
love it.
that is a beautiful man. You talk about good energy. You talk about just sees life through the correct lens and through such optimism and joy and gratitude. That's what I love so much about him. I thought I was grateful. This man is grateful king, and it's so needed in today's society. I know I'm preaching now, but it's like I look at how much we've lost respect and gratitude, and then we wonder why people are entitled and don't care about each other. Well, to have respect for yourself, you naturally will then give respect. But it's so lost nowadays. But people feel they're entitled to things because in most cases they weren't taught gratitude. Like
Right.
be grateful for the little you have before you go out here squandering, the majority of what you possess. Like people are so wasteful nowadays because we're all about me, me, what can I get? What can I get? So that man right there, absolutely beautiful. Yes.
Yes. Well, it has been a pleasure chatting with you. This has been really fun. Again,
Yes.
just such a great filmography. When do new episodes premiere? Soon,
As of
yes?
January 2025, I think it's going to want to say the end of January 22nd, maybe, but definitely the month of January 2025 is when the new season will start. Yeah.
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 Crazy. Can't wait. This will air before then. We haven't
Okay.
spoiled anything, but
Okay.
I'm excited to see more of
Me
you,
too. Me too.
and
And
I
thank
appreciate.
you. Thank you. I appreciate what you're doing. I really do appreciate the chat. And I encourage you to keep going, keep doing what you're doing. It's needed. But again, to be seen, oh my gosh, I absolutely love that. I love being seen. I love seeing others. I see you, so thank you.
Absolutely, RJ. Thank you so much.
Yes.